Oh, I'm muted. I was muted for the entire time. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. All right, to recap. Archreaver challenged SDN to a HOLMGANG here. This is not, there's no bad blood between these guys. They're just the teammates from the tournament, as you know, obviously, Cheese. They're just the teammates from the tournament, and I guess they're going at it to find out who carried whom in the Hunger Games, right? That's what we're playing for here. So yeah, they're just friendly 1v1ing here, I would say. And yeah, SDN was the one picking the mod. We're actually playing a mod that he calls Vanilla, and the mod file was also named that way. It is a little bit misleading though, because this is not Vanilla Civ. This is yeah, this is not MPT. This is Vanilla. There's no delay in the stream as well, so I can react for chat messages for once. I don't expect any of these two guys to cheat, so I guess it's fine not to have the delay on here. Yeah, this is not MPT, it's vanilla. SDN calls it that way anyways. And what it means is it's MPT except no unique units, no Civ trades, no huts, no barbarians, and 80 turns limit. So it's basically just a very clean, a very pure version, a very simplified version of MPT, I would say. It works pretty much the same way. The tech cost is the same thing. It's just yeah, it's just a little bit different in a sense that there's no civs here. So it's literally just a 1v1. I have a symmetrical map setup as well. So this is literally, for once we can actually say this is a vivid, approved, fair 1v1. Probably, maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's still something that needs to be equalized that I'm not thinking about right now. Bandwidth or something, I don't know. But this is actually a fair 1v1. Interesting, looks like Rome's gonna settle on this hill here. Non-roaded yet, but I guess he's gonna get the road completed rather soon. So a little bit of a different approach in terms of early settlements between these two guys here. This is pure 1v1, exactly. Exactly, this is the same thing. So it is pure Civ, that's actually it. Aside for RNG, completely even odds to both guys. And yeah, again, the map is usually random. This is an old scenario. SDN said they used to play this on old ladder for CCC, and yeah, so they used to play it on random maps, of course. But just like in the MPT tourney I hosted, I just made a completely mirrored map, so that yeah, it just amplifies the even chances 1v1 aspect of this mod. So yeah, we're actually playing even 1v1. Archer, take that 1v1. Oh, he took it. Well, he listened to your advice, and man, he called that bluff and actually just goes for the kill on the hillside city. That's, I mean, that's a gamble. I mean, it's not really a huge risk, right? But he takes the gamble and it pays off. Fair enough. Here's the hilltop city, and as quick as that, that's the first map of this best of three already done. Wow. Oh Lord. Okay, all right. Give me a sec here as I load up the next. Okay, give me a second as I load up the next map, of course. This is gonna just take a second here, but end of turn planned work. Just needed one reinforcing. I mean, sure, yeah, he needed to be ready to reinforce, have a warrior out, and be ready to move it. Because yeah, I guess he just wasn't expecting that one, and that's a quick 1-0 lead in this best of three. Oh God, Archreaver just establishing the dominance here. All right, he takes the lead. Respect. Alright. Come on, Steam, boot up, boot up. There we go. Ooh. SDN saying he missed the double move onto Archreaver's capital as well. He would have apparently liked to try with that double warriors that he had, but yeah, didn't get the move in time, I suppose. Anyways, that was a quick one for Archie. He gets the favorable RNG and takes the lead just like that. Respect. That's all I can say. He made quick work of that one. All right, here we go. I have to load the correct file for this one. We'll be in pretty soon here for the second game of this matchup. Oh, SDN saying he was actually strong in terms of military advisor there to Archreaver, so might have had decent odds of taking out Archer's cap. Didn't end up going that far though. Okay, turn timer normal. There we go. We had some issues with the turn timer initially on that first map we played. It's still very much experimental, so these guys are going to be understanding of that, I'm pretty sure. But in any case, I guess we go in for the spectator reload and we'll see. Should be underway in no time here. All right. Okay. Setting everything up. Just waiting for Archreaver to finish his turn. Okay. There we go. Have it saved. And have the spectator mode, enabled. Just gotta reboot the lobby, of course. Or rehost the lobby, I should say. Nice. This is a rather quick affair in these 1v1 scenarios. People tend to actually join up. So that's nice. Oops. Oi. There we go. SDN's here as well. So this is actually going rather quickly. Got it. Do I have it? Yep. All good. And we're loading. Okay. Nice. Looks all successful, and we're launching back in. So here comes match 2 of that best of 3. Maybe Archreaver can close it out just like that. We'll see. First one was surprisingly quick. Here we are on this second map. It looks a bit similar, but it is quite different. It's again a symmetrical map though. Tons more BGs though, and these two guys don't have their they don't have the text research, of course, so they can't see the res yet that I see. But we see SDN going for the same strategy with the early chop here. Quite interesting, maybe for just an early warrior rush. That's what he's doing, I assume. And on the other side, Archreaver with his mine again. Okay. There we go. Just announcing that we are in game 2 for those interested in joining us for this experimental first Holmgang matchup between these two guys. Archreaver taking the lead here. Was he the better player all along? Was he the one carrying the team to the finals in the Hunger Games? Who knows? Maybe SDN can prove the doubters wrong. He is the experienced veteran of this mod. I checked the old forums earlier and I saw some posts from him. So he's a real OG, posting since 15 years ago or longer. This guy knows his stuff, especially in this mod. Map is a bug face, is what you're saying. Ooh, Big Mountain Island and furs. Wait, what's wrong with those furs? Furs are good. I remember Vivid saying that furs were so OP that they were kicked out of the tournament just because of it. Because Archreaver's furs had his Aztecs outproduce the opponent's Iroquois or whatever it was. Oh, dude, my Nightbot commands. I swear to God, I'm gonna unmod the fucking bot so it stops posting. I can't get it to disable that automatic post, but whatever. These furs are gonna be crucial, I tell you, crucial. And yeah, we have the volcano islands if somebody wants to go for some crazy boating as well. Yep, this is just the auto win there, just like in the tournament. It's the exact same situation. I'm definitely not exaggerating here to make Vivid look ridiculous. Alright, but enough of the talking. Interesting, is SDN just sitting at home this time around? That's weird. This can't be ideal. Maybe he took a roll here and lost a warrior already, but no, I don't think he could be that far out yet. That's weird. Maybe he's chopping a barracks, actually. I don't know. Maybe that's what he did, but he's not moving out at all, which is interesting. But yeah, maybe he just can't see. He can't see which way the opponent is yet, right? Because you can't see the coast from where you're starting. So I guess he wanted to make sure maybe if he did actually go for a barracks chop that he wouldn't end up moving into the wrong direction and just getting ambushed. I'm not sure though. That's a bit weird. Surprise victory point out is what he's saying. I should do that, yeah. Should make that gimmick here, just in memory of our good old disputes over tournament map balance. But no, he just made another regular warrior, so he couldn't have chopped the barracks there. For anyone that ends up tuning into this stream later, just a reminder, this is not MPT, but it's pretty close to it. It's a mod called Vanilla, and it's pretty much pure Civ, so no Civ traits, no unique units, no barbs, no huts. The only difference between these two guys is their RNG, so a pretty fair 1v1 in terms of CIV3. And this one starting off way quieter. SDN had his hands burned in that initial match where he lost within, I'd say, 15-20 turns to a 1v1 warrior taking his hillside city. Pretty unlucky, but you know, gotta be careful there. And there we go. These two guys finally meeting each other now. Archreaver blocking one of SDN's irons. He moves off though to fight. A very manly, masculine 1v1 combat is what I'm expecting here. Oh god, why am I building spearmen? Dude, I don't know. I'll just cue the Colossus. My lord. Alright, now back to more important things. There was actually no 1v1 hand-to-hand combat ensuing out of that encounter. But at least SDN now knows which direction Archreaver is going to be coming from. And Archreaver's swarming the map with his warriors, which would be good in MPT, but since there's no huts here, he's not going to get a lot out of this, other than just vision, of course. He's definitely more proactive though. SDN just stuck at home here, which is pretty interesting. He's not doing a whole lot here. In comes the move to block some PGs, but since both of these guys have tons of bonus grasslands, and again the map is exactly symmetrical here in the center, there's SDN is going to be more than fine with the way, with the tiles that he still has. Again, he's moving back into Rome though, so he's really he seems incredibly scared. This is very interesting. Maybe he just wants to hide his numbers or something, but like he's not getting vision, he's not pressuring, he's really just staying at home. Very curious as to what that's about. Maybe he DM'd me that he's got some issues. No, all right. Was just wondering, maybe his kids kept him busy or something. But no, he's just taking it slower this time around. I can respect it. Wanting to put up a better fight here. There goes the hit. He clears out that warrior. There we go with 2 warriors of his own. So, all right, he's got more guys at home than last time around. Archreaver now with another settler out. Is he gonna go for the closer, more corruption efficient plant? There he goes. That again. These Vikings with suspiciously non-coastal cities here. Don't know what that's all about, but it's fine. I guess he's fine without it anyways. And there we go. A settler chopped by SDN. He's now also gonna plant another city. He might just plant it coastal here, honestly, because that's a pretty nice city spot to have. But maybe for the corruption, he's gonna stay close. Although I'm not sure how corruption works on a map like this, with all the different variables from the base MPT. Not sure that as to how exactly that works out. Okay, so for our first sort of test run HOLMGANG, I'm pretty happy with how this goes so far. I feel like the mod is implemented quite properly. The spectator setup was an issue in the first game, but yeah, definitely expect some more, some better production for the more spicy HOLMGANGs that we're gonna be having here, because this is gonna be a fun format, I can promise you guys already. SDN did actually end up walking to the coast, which again is a move that I quite like. Gives you more score, gives you a coastal city, of course, which, I mean, that's really what you're playing Civ for, isn't it? But yeah, he did choose to go for it, and is now also sending a warrior out, it seems, to yeah, maybe get to know the world a little bit. This time around, he's gonna have that road ready in time before Archreaver can actually get there. He's also looking to secure that hill, which is a very important position to hold, because that hill threatens both of his cities, and you just don't want to be giving that pressure up, if you have the choice not to, at least. Again, Archreaver up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. I maybe put it in the title, best of 3. Okay, there we go. So people can know. First to 2 game victories wins the series, and Archreaver is on a great way there. He's also got the upper hand in terms of priority, vision, and just, yeah, military pressure at the moment. Although it's not a ton, so I wouldn't say this is decided by any means. Let's keep track of how the score ends up developing here. So Rome actually at size 1 again. Did he end up making another settler already? I wouldn't like that. I don't think he's in a position to, because he really doesn't have his tiles roaded yet. So again, I wouldn't really enjoy that all that much. Archreaver doesn't know that SDN's worker is there, quite unexposed right now, so he might be looking to go for it anyways, though, knowing him. Ends up fortifying, prompts SDN to move out of cap, and we now know exactly what the Romans have. It's just those 4 warriors, and he made a second worker, so no additional settler here just yet. Still continues to stay 2 score behind Archreaver. The lower pop is going to contribute to that, despite the considerably larger land area that he's controlling. Let's see if Archreaver ends up going for a double move. Doesn't look like it. The warrior stays fortified on the forest, and that's the 5th warrior coming out for SDN. Moves the second one back into cap just to be completely safe. Not gonna be dying all that soon this time around. A good job on him with that. And yeah, what's Archreaver doing? I assume he knows that he's got all the pressure, that he's got, well, complete priority here. So he could expand pretty freely here at home. I assume he might be going for those floodplain cities. There's 2 floodplains available to both these guys, of course. And that might be what he's eroding for right now, in that general direction. I wouldn't hate a city somewhere like here for the luxury, for the floodplains as well. And I don't think they have the wheel or ironworking tax yet, although who knows, it's really hard to tell, to be honest. So yeah, they at least should be seeing their strategic res pretty soon. It's interesting though, because again, the one byproduct of this scenario being without any CIV trades is the fact that excuse me, is the fact that oh god, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Oh yeah, of course. The byproduct of not having any CIV trades is you don't have any starting tax. Here comes the double move. Does SDN end up protecting his BG? No, he ends up protecting Vey, which wasn't really that necessary, at least not this turn. But Archreaver didn't see the move either, so he can't know what SDN is potentially thinking right now. That's another reinforcement warrior on the worker. Good job there. No reason to really leave that up to a close to 50-50 situation if you've got the warriors necessary around. Trondheim back to size 1. Maybe that's another settler there for Archreaver. It should be at least, judging that SDN is on size 2 already and size 3 now, so he's 1 pop ahead. Of course, with that warrior worker makes him 2 pop ahead, so that should be a settler out of Trondheim to equal the population there, if I'm not mistaken. Interesting irrigation here for SDN on the vines. That's a 3-foot tile for him. If we take a look here. Oops. I hope I didn't just con him. It's a 4-foot tile for me, but of course I'm in communism for no reason at all. So that would actually mean he's got a 3-foot tile for himself there. And I'm not sure I like it. Maybe it's actually good, but I mean, I guess he can allow he can afford to work the forest that way. So actually, probably a decent choice here. Get some nice growth. Although working 2 bonus crescents would be the exact same thing in terms of production. Now I don't see the settler out of Trondheim yet, so maybe I missed something. Maybe he pop rushed a granary actually, because that's what I was saying earlier. Since you don't start with any tax, you really need to tack a lot here in the early game. You need to make decisions. Do you want archers? Do you want a granary? Do you want to see the iron on the map? So you really need to make meaningful decisions here early on, and you have to do all the tacking yourself, right? So therefore, I actually am pretty interested in which types of strategies these 2 guys are going for. I assume Archreaver just pop rushed the granary in Trondheim, and that's why he's a little bit behind in population now. Vey based back to size 1. Maybe that's another settler, maybe just another worker. Not sure. He doesn't really have the roads necessarily for another city yet. But I guess had he this road would already be finishing this turn, so he could have settled there in that case. Who knows though. There we go, another warrior back to Rome. There's a bunch more coming, and again, I don't like the fact that SDN doesn't have any sentries out, doesn't control any of the vision around his land. And we see he's now ahead in score, because I assume of the pop rushing in Trondheim as well as the bigger land size, most importantly. But yeah, he's taking the score lead, so if nothing else, he's doing well in that department. And yeah, he really needs to start to claim some of the hills around his land, I think, because otherwise he can just be ambushed, blindsided completely. I think it's an 8-tile gap between 2 CIVs, I think, on this map. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's a 10-tile gap actually here. So last map, I think, was 8 tiles then. This is a little bit of a bigger gap here. And oh, he actually ends up exposing his worker here. So Archreaver knows SDN's going for this tile here. I assume that means he wants to settle this hill, because otherwise no reason to go for this tile improvement. He's sending a settler out now, and this is very risky. I really don't like that move. He's got a safer city spot back here prepared already. Instead ends up roading for this city spot right now, and then ends up sending out the settler in a complete another direction. I assume he wanted to originally send that settler over here, but since he realized that Archreaver had already stacked warriors on his border, maybe that's actually what prompted him to choose another direction. Now ends up probably just settling for those horses, which isn't a terrible choice, right? That's a pretty good city as well, but you need the road there. You know the opponent has a bunch of warriors around your land, so really, he ends up giving up the hill over here, which also I don't like. I think you really would have wanted to hold on to that if possible. Ends up giving that up now, and yeah, just rushes to reinforce his worker and settler, I would assume, because as soon as Archreaver sees that plan, you have to assume that he could be making a play for either Rome or Antium, which is going to appear here in a second, I'd assume. There's no way he walks one tile further, right? He's got to take the 2-tile land. Anything else would be complete another suicide there. But who knows? We'll see. Archreaver ended up going for the city, well, sort of the city I proposed. I would have liked this one for the incense, but no, he chooses this one. Still gets one floodplain, so it's not a terrible choice. In any case, he's got himself the 3rd city, and here comes Antium as well for Rome. And as we said, it's not roaded yet, so Archreaver could be making a push here. I don't like the choice by SDN. He's playing with fire, but Archreaver seems to be respecting it so far. Still remains set on that mountain. Maybe just doesn't want to give up that great strategic position that he's claimed for himself. I would honestly recommend him just leave one warrior on that mountain and maybe move up with 2. If nothing else, try to claim one of these hills that SDN clearly wants to settle on, judging by the fact that he's roading that tile here already, presumably. And another settler coming out for Archreaver. These Vikings finally going to get a coastal one, although it's going to be a long way till they have that map making check, so he's not going to be making any galleys anytime soon. At least he's got a barracks though, as we see. Veteran warrior out of Trondheim, and no archers for any of these guys so far. I really would have liked to have a functioning spectator setup, including spies here, because that would allow me to see what they actually ended up what they actually ended up building and tacking as well, right? Because I would then see once these first archers are starting to come out. In any case, this is still fine, and yeah, Archreaver was starting to take the lead here, I would say. He's got that 4th city. SDN's gonna plant his one as well, but he is just barely holding on to his stuff right now, whereas Archreaver is completely fine at home. He's got even more warriors than he necessarily needs, right? If you just put a few sentries out, you can probably cut the number of defensive units that you have right now in half without giving up really any safety, I would say. But these units aren't going to be doing that much on the offensive end either. Although maybe they would actually, no, they would force SDN to protect all these tiles that is currently pretty lenient with. So no, I would say that moving a few more of these warriors up for Archreaver would be a good play. Backline city for SDN here, as mentioned before. I like it. It's still not roaded, but that doesn't really matter because it's completely backline and the enemy can't reach it without you taking note of that. So good plant here on Kumai. Antium on the front line now also roaded, so he has stabilized things a bit. He's also still up in score, so he's definitely not doing terrible. And again, with both teams playing a level playing field here, same land, same civs in a sense, right? No unique units, no trades. That means this is still on pretty even footing, I would say. Now for this turn, as it just flipped, let's take a look at the population that both these guys have out. We have 3 workers for SDN, plus 4, 7, 9 pop, and then we have 4, 7, 8 pop for Archreaver, and only 1 worker that we can see right now. He seems to be a little bit behind in population. That's probably due to both pop rushing in Trondheim earlier, and this irrigated wines tile that actually provides 3 food for SDN and probably has netted him a little bit of a food lead already. We see another worker here for Archreaver now, so we missed that. That means he's behind 1 in pop still, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, that could also just be a byproduct. Interesting move here, actually moving off the forest now, takes it back, and SDN got baited into hitting, but he gets the combat. That's perfect for SDN. He's super happy with that, because that frees up all the units he had on his back cities, allows him to just set up sentries here on the hillside range here, and leave the back cities empty, if not for military police maybe, but with what he's got here, this is a super favorable outcome. He wins the combat here, frees up those warriors, and gets to move them all back up front, where really the bulk of the early aggression is going to be taking place here. He snuck another warrior around on the backside, might be able to pick something off here if he's lucky, because Archery was definitely not expecting that one, I don't think. No sentries up north that would have suggested this to him. And oh, look at what we've got here. We finally got a barracks in Rome, and he's starting to put it to good use as well. He settled those horses earlier, and he's making a couple of chariots. Now, the tech costs were not reduced for this one, so you have the tech costs are the same as they would be in MPT, or in regular Civ, for that matter. But you're only one guy that's teching everything, so you either need to stop teching pretty soon, or you're not going to be able to afford real upgrades here. Because, yeah, now horsemen are quite a bit cheaper than swordsman upgrades, so it's not that ridiculous. And remember, he's not a troll for going chariots as Rome. He's actually not got legionaries, since no unique units in this mod called Vanilla. I like this choice, of course. Veteran chariots, pretty decent, just having 2 movers as is. But then with the potential horseman upgrade, that could be a good window of early aggression here. We see all Archreaver's got is veteran warriors, and he's got a bunch, so he's definitely going for that swordsman upgrade, I think. Oh, look at this. He moved out the worker. Is Archreaver going to realize he does not in time? And here we see an archer for Rome as well. So that's good to know. SDN also with the warrior code researched already. He's definitely going for that horseback riding, I would assume. Remember, no golden age, so you can't really 1 per turn horseman here in GA or anything like that. I guess checking horseback riding early would be a little bit painful here, since you can really only upgrade once with the horseman. But then, of course, you have the choice to go for iron later if you still have gold left over. So I assume it's better to do it this way around than the other way, because you can always well, no, it doesn't really matter. You can also just upgrade iron units first. That was actually just some BS that I spewed, but it's okay, because that's just what I tend to do. Another 3 food tile now on the map, both of these guys having one of those. Archreaver can get more of them easily though, whereas SDN is still a good bit away from his floodplains. Maybe the population momentum is now also going to shift a bit. It definitely is though, because Archreaver's got 5 cities out already, therefore has a natural growth advantage in that regard. And oh, what is this? Archreaver is, or no, excuse me, Archreaver, SDN is just yeah, showing off his chariots here, alerting Archreaver to the fact that these are being stacked. Now, one could argue that Archreaver might be suspecting it simply due to Antium being planted on horses, but if you never show any chariots, much less veteran chariots, to your opponent, you might not immediately catch onto that, or at least yeah, suspect it to come out this early. Whatever, Archreaver now knows what's going on here. SDN finally ends up removing that chariot from Neapolis. Maybe that was a mismove to begin with, but I don't know. I didn't really like that. He's got a good amount of works out for himself now. Got 5 of them, if I see that correctly. And the Mine plus Roaded BG up here gives him another decent city spot on one of these hills, although those don't protect you from dying all together. If we remember that previous game, you can also noob out on hill cities. Never safe from that. Archreaver, on the other hand, now let's take a look. I'm not sure that warrior actually ever made it to his border. I'd assume he might have moved it up here or something and seen the warrior, I don't know. But seems to be moving it back now, maybe just as a sentry up in the north. And what is this? Oh, he's... Oh, I think what he did is he just moved up to the border, then didn't show himself, probably, although I'm not 100% sure of that. And now he's trying to sneak around a couple of chariots. And look at those chariots. These red chariots actually look pretty good. Look at these guys. I like the look of those. That red horse color or whatever it is. It's pretty cool. Can't lie. And SDN actually 6 points up in score. Not quite sure how he's doing it, but looks like Archie is going to plant another city somewhere around this area soon. Might just pick the hill spot, but that would actually surprise me. I don't like it that much. He himself now also with a couple of red chariots out. Yeah, I would be very surprised if these guys here ended up sneaking through and getting a kill there, because he doesn't have any vision of Archreaver's tiles. He doesn't even know where he's planted yet. If he did, he might be able to sneak through here and here onto Reykjavik. That would be an awesome move. We can't forget though, SDN is the patented king of horsemen sneaking, so maybe that extends to chariots as well. He's very patient with those, so if anyone, he would be the guy I would expect to find the way through here with the unseen sneak onto this tile and then a potential double move into Reykjavik. Pretty unlikely though, as Archreaver has started covering his flanks, and therefore is probably not gonna get caught off guard by any of that. 3 warriors still sitting up front on the mountain, and SDN now indicating he would like to plant on that hill rather soon. As Archie was probably not going to be able to deter that from happening either. And look at this, that's a little bit of an overkill, I would argue, but the 3 archers moving out just to clear out the iron down south. SDN just ends up using 1. Wow, didn't lose any HP. Oh no, ended up losing 1. Didn't move onto the tile for some reason, but that's fine. Oh, that might have been a mismove since he moved the warrior up further. Maybe he's trying to play mind games and not showing Archreaver that the settler has actually been moved out. Whatever it is though, he's gonna plant up here, I assume. And I mean, it's decent, right? You get the floodplains, which decent tile. Archreaver gonna get his 3 food tile, his second one, end of this turn as well, I assume. But no, SDN, yeah, simply decided to plant outside of Archreaver's vision apparently. Don't think it matters all that much which of these 2 options he ended up picking anyways. And he's now also cleared out Archie's vision down south. Maybe the turtling slow early strat wasn't actually that bad. I still don't think not sending out any warriors is that good, or is that necessary. But looks like it didn't cost him all that much, although maybe some scouting of that Scandinavian land would have been of some sort of an advantage if you're now trying to sneak a couple of chariots in. And yeah, just 3 of them. I would be very surprised again if that ended up netting a kill, but maybe he doesn't even need a kill necessarily. Maybe he can also just get some workers, get some tile improvements, set Archreaver behind that way, because remember, this is a full-on 50-50 matchup. There's no advantage to either side that's exterior from the game, or from the gameplay, I should say. So actually he's, yep, there he goes. Actually, just any even all that small, any edge that you get over the opponent, any bit you set him behind, might end up paying off in the end. And maybe that's what these chariots could be achieving here. Whatever. I like Archreaver covering his flanks here. The warrior in that spot, making it impossible. Oops. Making it impossible for SDN to move through, and also not moving up to this BG doesn't even let SDN know that there's a warrior up there. Last time SDN checked, there was no sentries from Archreaver in the north. And there he goes. He now moves the chariots forward, and he's got no clue that the sentry is waiting for him over there. And he's definitely going to get spotted next turn, unless he's very careful with his moves and ends up moving out of vision range before Archreaver even ends up noticing him. I would be very surprised though, since Archreaver is very likely to have his eyes on his own land right now, since there's nothing going on SDN's home front. 6 cities for him, 6 cities for Archreaver, who just looks like he's got pretty low citizen numbers across the board. Maybe that's actually a little bit of a window here for SDN, because Archreaver seems to be going an emote of that yawn. Was it really that gorgeous? Oh lord. Oh lord. What I was saying is, Archibald seems to have a little bit of low populations here. It looks like he's maybe going for even a bigger expansion here that would put him behind in terms of productivity. But no, I have to retract that, because SDN also a bunch of low pop cities here and even made another settler out of Wei. So really only Rome as a metropolis here. Able to, oh, it's not technically a metropolis, right? I just mean in terms of a very productive city here, can produce a lot. And there we go, he ends up spotting that Viking sentry moves out of its vision. I would be shocked if Archreaver didn't see that though, because again, I can't imagine. Yep, there goes the immediate reinforcer to Copenhagen. He definitely took note of that. And here the Danish guy ends up projecting his hometown city, or well, I'm not sure it's his hometown, but his the city of his nation, which is pretty interesting, right? Because Copenhagen is the only Danish city that he's planted so far. So yeah, SDN should definitely get him there to hurt him where it really, or to hit him where it really hurts. Bunch of reinforcement going into Copenhagen though, and since this natural terrain here is kind of a barrier to Bergen, he can't even double move that. So Archreaver is very much safe in that city. Only needs to defend 1, and that's a great spot to be in here. He's definitely chilling. No fear here. He's probably expecting a bit more than 3 chariots coming, because they've wrapped all the way around north here. They've been on the way for quite a while, so he's probably expecting more like 7 or 8 chariots to be there. Therefore, pumping a lot of a lot of units rather, into Copenhagen. But no, it's definitely not that serious. So yeah, with now that way into Archreaver's backline cities cut off, I would be surprised if SDN ended up getting anything even as much as a worker here. Should it just end up being forced to retreat with those, if as I expect. Now, what's he doing? He's just improving tiles so far. He's not made any efforts to hook that iron yet, although he's freed it up, so he's free to do so at any point. He's gonna plant that hill city up north, it seems, which is difficult to reinforce, so that might end up being a liability later on. So would potentially do himself a favor planting along this river at some point, just to disable Archreaver from wrapping around onto that city unseen, which could again be very tough to reinforce if it was being struck by a surprise attack. Now, Archreaver not with those gems hooked yet. That's going to be an advantage for SDN, with the score with the score about to skyrocket here from him, just due to sheer amount of luxuries. Look at this, 2 luxuries hooked already, whereas SDN's sitting on 1. Oh yeah, he's gonna get outscored so hard here. Watch this, guys. It's gonna be well, my god, I don't even know the word for it. He's not gonna be able to come back from that one, is what I mean. Irrecoverable, I guess, is the word. Whatever. He's safe at home, and both of these guys have now minimized their attempts, their efforts at both setting up sentries as well as clearing out enemy ones. Here goes SDN trying for a double move. He finds out that, oop, there we go. Chariot's now defending that worker just in time. SDN just found out that Bergen was impossible to hit just due to natural terrain circumstances. Very nice planting there from Archreaver. I doubt it was intended that way, but this forms a great natural barrier against any sorts of double move attempts, as they are able to get the hill priority that I applauded Archreaver for getting over here earlier. Yeah, is probably not going to be able to hold onto it that long because these units are rather easy to clear out. But at least, hey, you know, he's getting some great vision of Archiever's land, which of course is the same as his own land. But it's also important to just know how many cities the opponent has, how big they are, where he's got them. All these things are valuable information, so I like him taking that. Ooh, hey status. Great seeing you drop in. I'm not sure if you know about this yet. I raid Rome here. I'm not sure. Do you mean I like their position or I like them as a civ? Because if you mean the latter, then I just gotta say, oh yeah, there he goes, just using warriors to trade into this. Now I'm not that adept at the CIV3 Sid Visor app, but I'm pretty sure hitting chariots fortified on a hill with warriors is about as close to a 50-50 trade as you can get. Archreaver ends up getting the hill control back though, which is the most important part. Now, what I was saying instead is that this is this is not MPT. It's that scenario that SDN called vanilla. It's basically MPT, but there's no civ trades and no unique units. So everybody's playing on a level playing field. No unique units, no civ trades. So these civs are really just here for cosmetics. Therefore, I rate the Vikings higher because they are just cooler. On the other hand, though, I was just saying earlier how I like the red-colored chariots there. So they're definitely looking better than the purple ones in my mind. So maybe I gotta reconsider that civ ranking in that regard. Alright, yeah, but just again to summarize, these two civs are all just cosmetics, no civ traits, and no unique units in this mod. And look at this, we have the first horseman coming out here from either party, and it's SDN who clears up the last one of SDN's scouting chariots with it. I wonder how many of those he's gotten, because he's been stacking those for quite a while as well, and I assume he's turned off the tech. We can see he's got at least 4 horsemen here, and they're gonna bring the apocalypse onto Rome here, just as the Goths did. Their Viking brothers are about to unleash it here. At least that's what I'm hoping for, because with some horsemen you can definitely begin to get aggressive here, especially against an opponent that presumably doesn't have all that many archers at home. I assume SDN focused more so on getting horsemen up, or excuse me, on getting chariots up there, is what I meant. And although we know that he's got a couple of archers, he doesn't have a million ones. Well, at least that's what I assume, right? We can't be sure, but that's just how I would judge it. And Archreaver, apparently just those three scouting chariots are probably what prompted him to send all of his attack out now. Maybe he would have done that anyway, since he's sort of stopped expanding here after I complained about him not stopping it earlier. He's not got any swordsmen yet. He's got a spearman, interestingly, in Stockholm. I'm not sure how that came to be. My Colossus also not gonna finish here, luckily. Okay, I'm glad about that. And look at that, that was just an upgrade, and it's actually SDN with the hilltop, the Iron Hill city plant, who went for a small swordsman upgrade. I don't think he has more than 2 or 3 of them, because yeah, he doesn't even have a veteran one, so I would be surprised in that regard. What Archreaver, he's sending everything out here, it looks. Even some empty cities here, as he's fully confident that SDN can't hit him right now. He's got a good amount. He's got 5 horsemen here, ruining my nice meme, and 5 more in the stack back here. This is a very potent attack that I'd be surprised if SDN just defended without any issues. Now he's got a good amount of swordsmen by now, at least 3 of them, 2 of them veterans. So if he can position those against the horsemen, maybe that's going to be more favorable for him, but I just don't think he's got the archers to trade favorably into these Archreaver horsemen. And again, I don't like the way in which he just surrendered the vision around his home. Now he's made a good effort to reclaim it, but mainly just this hill here, or this mountain rather, never being contested by him, is something that I I can't really agree with. At least he's got a few more favorable sentry positions by now, making the double moving a little bit harder for SDN, but or excuse me, for Archreaver rather. But Arch should still know that that he knows for sure that this hill is being controlled by. Oh, I hope I didn't just con him. He should know that this hill is being controlled by SDN, but he probably assumes that the mountain down here is as well. He's keeping that one horseman at home, I guess, just to induce a false sense of security there in SDN. I'm not sure. He has the angle open to move all the way around here unseen if he wanted to. He still has the opportunity to move onto Pisai unseen, which would be absolutely horrible for SDN if that ended up happening. I'm not sure Archreaver realizes this, but from this tile, he could just double move into Pisai, which is very difficult to reinforce. SDN is taking precautions against it. I like this. This road here would be very crucial to be able to reinforce Pompeii and Pisai from the same stack of units here, but he's making life incredibly difficult for himself just by not placing one sentry unit up north in order to free up those units out of Pisai, and I don't like that. I really can't agree with that choice. Also, the archer back in Kuma is a bit suspicious. Maybe he expects some boating, but no, he now moves it out. I agree with that choice. Looks like the horseman's deck is just going to be slammed through the middle area here, though, as Pompeii, Rome, and Antium might be threatened here. I expect a move to start end of next turn, since there's really no reason not to move with your entire stack here. And it's pretty potent. He even cleared out SDN's Sentry Warrior over here on the hills, which I didn't catch, but look at this. This is quite potent. Now he even moves up with the Warrior to check which of the tiles he can double move onto. So maybe he's actually going to go with his first mini stack of units with the first half of the stack end of this turn. I don't think he will, and I wouldn't agree with it either. But maybe that's what he's looking for right now. Not sure on that front, because why else would he have moved up that warrior? Whatever the reason is, I think the attack is gonna commence end of next turn, and SDN could have some trouble with this. Again, I cannot stress enough how bad of a city plan Pisai is without having adequate sentries. Just one unit up here to let yourself or to alert yourself whenever Archreaver is going for that wraparound hit onto Pisai, which could be so easily detected in advance. By not doing so, though, he loses, I think, 4 archers and a swordsman at least, just to guard Pisai, because you can't reinforce it within 1 turn from any of your cities. That definitely warrants harsh criticism there. Oh, welcome Towel as well. Didn't see you dropping in earlier. This emote is just, I mean, this just warrants a timeout, dude. I can't let this stand in my Twitch chat. Sorry about that. We don't fuck with that here. We do fuck with horseman plays though, and it looks like Archreaver is about to launch one. He's got his stack here. That's about 12 horsemen and 3 chariots on top of that. He can hit 3 different cities from where he's standing right now. I would have liked him to really wrap around and hit Pisai, but it looks like SDN is expecting that. So maybe the reverse psychology angle is actually working out in Archreaver's favor here, as he ends up going for the middle alley. He might be looking to take some roads first and strike deeper into Roman territory, but his stack is really easy to clear out. There's no archers or 2 defense unit with it, so I really don't expect him to do that. I expect him to purely go for a city, because you can't defend against any of SDN's units, not even archers, much less so swordsman, which admittedly Archreaver doesn't know that SDN has yet, although never mind, he sees this one, so he's alert of that fact. Now I expect the double move to come in this turn. Is he going to move up with the warrior first again? No, it looks like... Oh, there we go. He wakes up the units. There he goes into Antium. He's got the access to all these 3 cities, though. Which one is he going to take? He might be looking to get that road and strike at Antium, but it looks like either SDN is hitting out of Antium, or No, that's actually not the case. We have Archreaver going for the kill onto that city, and SDN is pretty slow on the reinforce. There we go, another swordsman, and that's gonna be crucial for defense. You need those 2 defense units to cover up your otherwise maybe a little bit slow reinforcements. But it looks like Archreaver is getting some decent RNG here. Another warrior on top there. There goes another swordsman though, and now Pompey is a little bit empty here. I'm not sure Archreaver has committed with all of his units yet. It looks like he has though only 1 full HP horseman left over, so I assume all of these combats have gone through, and SDN has survived the initial attack. Oh god, I really dislike this choice. Now, oh no, never mind. He's going for the counter attack. I very much like this choice. Never mind that. He's doing everything okay here. Archiever now at least has the luxury of going for the retreat here, since he had that, since he, of course, came in with the double move himself. But honestly, might have even fared better going for the forward move onto Rome, because those backline cities aren't adequately defended right now. Whatever it is, he ends up moving fully out here, doesn't want to lose this investment, and SDN has fended off the attack successfully. Now, Archiever has barely lost anything here. 2 chariots and maybe 2 horsemen, or yeah, maybe 2 of each, max, I would say. So that's really not that big a loss, and I assume SDN has lost way more, because I think he's lost quite a few swordsmen there. Maybe he only took damage on them, so I'm not sure how exactly those rolls went. But actually, no, we are pretty sure, because we have quite a few of 2 and 3 HP horsemen. We even had a 4 HP one after that attack, so I'm almost positive SDN lost a lot of shields there in that trade. The retreat function coming in clutch for Archiever, and he's able to retreat with all but 4 of those units. He's now planting straight towards SDN. He wants to get done with these shenanigans here, but look at this. The 18 score lead for SDN is rather surprising at this point. He has apparently just maybe planted a little bit further apart here, which might be part of it, but also, yeah, he has the score lead, so it is definitely Archie that is forced to go on the offensive here. Although, also, one thing to consider is he could just now, with the pressure that he's bought himself across these first 30 or 40 turns, could just go in for more of a planting strategy, not necessarily needing to rely on a kill, but rather get a ton of cities out now to increase that score lead. He would, however, then be very vulnerable to potential boating plays coming out from SDN, so maybe going for a kill is the more reasonable solution here. Remember, Archiever already up 1-0 in this best of 3. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You guys must not have caught that earlier. We are playing a mod that SDN calls Vanilla. It apparently was played in very long ago CCCs, for example, and it is just MPT without unique units and without CIV traits. There's no traits in this one. Okay, these CIVs are just cosmetic here. We have it's really just a 50-50 matchup, and I made a map that is completely symmetrical as well, as you can see. Any differences are just due to chops. So yeah, we have a complete 50-50 matchup here. SDN wanted to play this mod after Archiever challenged him, and he's now himself moving out with a small archer stack, it seems. I'm not sure I like this play, right? Because you know the enemy has 2 movers, so you're making yourself more vulnerable than you would need to be. And I wonder what his intention is. Maybe he just wants to get this mountain back, and that would be a pretty decent play. I would agree with the intent behind that. Anything other than that is rather unnecessary in my mind. Now we have SDN or Archiever sneak around up north, but it looks like he might have just opened up his horsemen to assault from this swordsman, although it seems it's out of moves. And there we go. No, SDN gets the move, or actually no, it was Archiever who hit the swordsman. What? What did I just... I guess he can do that. All right. He can attack and still has 2 moves left. I guess that's how CIV3 works. And yep, look at this. I think that's a pretty clear message from SDN, excuse me, that he wants that mountain. And finally, that would definitely give him much more intel about Archreaver's upcoming attacks, which he is gonna keep on launching, since that score difference is not getting smaller here. All right. In multiplayer, when you retreat, you still have two moves. That's interesting. Thanks for letting me know, though. I guess everyone is greased. Though, dude, you can't say that. You can't say that that's just grease. It's pure CIV3, or as SDN says, vanilla. Well, although that's a bit misleading. All right. Hmm. All right. Oh my God, yeah. Look at this. It's a heart-shaped lake. I didn't even know that, but yeah, it looks like a heart. You are right on that. Everybody making fun of these map shapes, but I think they're gorgeous. So yeah, take that. All right. Still, we have SDN who did pick this mod, has the score lead, but is 0-1 down due to a very greedy a very greedy plant, I would say, in the first couple of turns of that first match. So Archreaver still with the upper hand with some leeway in this series, and although I thought SDN might just go for the mountain retake here, he hasn't launched the attack and has, to the contrary, moved up with his stack instead. Again, he couldn't reasonably expect this to be enough to kill, so I really wonder why he's moving up that far with it, if it's not just to take this mountain out. Maybe he's just playing some mind games there, but I'm really not sure what's going on with that. Archreaver stack is about to be fully healed up again, so he could also use it to either soften up this one, which would be a very bad decision considering the huge amount of archers, or just pressure SDN's cities. Again, if he just moves those down south, SDN has to instantly worry about 3 more cities being in the potential range of attack here from these guys. So really, you can't afford to move all that many archers out. Your cities are rather far apart, and even across river up north. So the defensive flexibility that they have is about as big as Luka Doncic's. So really, you don't want to open yourself up, and that's what Archreaver realizes. He's moving in onto Antium. Another veteran spearman got just done there this turn in SDN. This time around a little bit quicker on the reinforcers. Gets another spearman in there, and I think that might just be enough to save him there, because that veteran spearman earlier must have done a lot of work already. I like the idea there from Archreaver, but he wasn't lucky enough to catch SDN fully off guard here. That spearman was pretty clutch, so now he's killed a bunch more. He's cut that stack into a third, I would say. So honestly, did decent job there. Nice bait, I would say. And his stack on offense still not that threatening, but at least he didn't get punished for it on the defensive end. So yeah, let's see what he's gonna be able to do with that. Maybe cut a few roads before it gets squashed, because I really think Archreaver should have enough warriors to just take this one out. But we'll see. Maybe I get proven wrong here, because I mean, nobody likes to attack into swordsmen with archers underneath. So that would be surprising here if he didn't do anything with this at all. If Archreaver was just able to survive it without any issues. And look at this, we only have 20 turns left. I'm not sure you can see it on stream. Yes, you can. 20 turns left in this one. It's an 80 turn limit game, just as Archreaver, or SDN rather, suggested I should do. He is the old veteran here, so I'll trust him on the assessment of his mods that he suggests. So again, we're in turn 60 right now, 20 turns left to get this one across the finish line for SDN. His score lead has shrunk. Archreaver has planted rather far apart on his last 4 plants here. Birka, Stavanger, Odense, and Oris. Very, very far apart. And he's going to catch up and score pretty quickly here. 20 turns could be enough to turn this one around if SDN doesn't end up planting more. But he, of course, is working on more cities. He's roading that luxury, and luxury plus another city will be another decent boost for him. Could see him being able to hold on to that lead. I just want to call attention to the fact that Archreaver is going to start catching up pretty quickly here with that with those 3 or 4 most recent plans. Now I am still curious of what's going on over here. Is SDN gonna hit into Aureus? Is he potentially already hitting? I don't see any HP going down, so no, I just see the frantic movements from Archreaver, but no, I don't think there's combat going on over there in Aureus. He probably just is looking for the road here, or potentially the Iron Mountain, because the same thing's going on over here. Archreaver still controlling that might have made SDN want to do the same to his opponent. What's he doing though? Oh, did he just hit Aureus? I don't think so. I think he must have gotten hit out of Aureus. Looks like Archreaver took the opportunity to go for the end of turn stack attack onto this tile now. Had SDN managed to outmove that, that could have been disastrous for Archreaver. But that way, he got a huge win here. He completely annihilates that Archer stack. And you can just clear it out now. There's no defensive bombard underneath 1 HP units. So honestly, this is enormous. A big investment that ISDN just lost without getting anything for it. I just guaranteed you guys a couple of turns earlier that he would at least be able to take a couple of roads, but no, he gets completely smothered at the front city already, and he's in trouble now. I would say. I think Archreaver probably traded quite favorably here. Even if he lost in terms of shields, he's now got the complete momentum, the complete priority back. And he's still holding on to that Iron Mountain over there on offense, remember. So yeah, SDN really would have liked to get the double move onto the Iron, I assume. Didn't end up working out for him. That was pretty bad. Still defensive combat if you lose first combat. Okay, so maybe there is, but right, if you're taken to this with archers, it's still gonna be quite favorable, isn't it? I mean, yeah. Yep, SDN did chop quite a lot compared to the opponent, I agree. I agree there. It looks pretty funny if you compare these lands here. No forest at all, bunch of forests, which is not historically accurate because the Vikings ended up deforesting any area they settled pretty quickly during the Viking Age expansion. So no, actually the Vikings should be doing more chopping here, but considering the frivolous lack of boats that Archreaver has made anyways, maybe he just doesn't need any of that wood that he would be chopping there. I'm gonna have to have a serious word with him there. But on the other hand, he's the Norseman, the Northman rather. After all, though, nah, that doesn't really apply. We should just say Dane, because if you say Northman, people think of Norwegians, which are of course an entirely different breed. But yeah, why would I want to get into that? I'm really just opening myself up to getting cancelled, aren't I? Whatever though. All I'm saying is Archreaver probably has some more Viking expertise in terms of feel than I do, so I should defer to him on the way he structures his Viking economy. All right, now with the memes out of the way, I just want to point out how incredibly comfortable the spot for Archreaver is in right now. He's catching up about 1 score per turn, so he might end up catching SDN, and he's in no position to get killed himself. He's controlling all the hills, especially down south, but also up north. He really has a decent idea of what SDN has got going on. Although there is the one angle here to sneak through all the way in the back, but I think Archreaver just knows that SDN doesn't have the military capacity to threaten him seriously anymore at this point. I'd honestly just stack archers in Copenhagen and then move him up into Odense or Aarhus if SDN actually ended up attacking. But in the way that your cities are constructed right now, you really just need to guard these 3 cities with the sentries that you have down there, and you're completely fine. Now, there could still be the wraparound down here, which nobody has attempted yet, apparently. I don't even think they've scouted this way yet. But yeah, that doesn't seem to be happening either. These horses are also about to be fully healed up again, so maybe he's looking for another surprise attack here on the offense here. Now, the only purpose for those, I would imagine, is just to keep SDN busy, keep him honest, not allow him to send everything that he has into offense, and hope that you can catch up in terms of score. You're down 11 now, so he's catching up real quick. I think he's quite comfortably going to take the score lead if SDN doesn't end up planting more cities here anytime soon. So really, Archreaver is in a pretty good spot to close out this series here. This first HOLMGANG in the on this in the community, I would say. Huh. All right. Towel? What are you saying, dude? What are you saying? Copenhagen Dash is not an adequate city name. Although again, it's basically just Daneslander, which I mean, I don't think I'd have a problem with that, right? What are the Danes gonna do? So maybe you could get away with that. It is a pretty good one, and since I like renaming my cities in multiplayer to meme stuff anyways, I might be on board with that, Tal. You might get away with that. Huh. The bug face. Yeah, the mouth of the bug is this down here, I assume. A bunch of very interesting analogies. Is Archie going for another double move here? No, he just woke those up. I think he was too late. He probably thought about challenging SDN's speed once more. And SDN seems to be going for the plant on the silks here, judging by the fact that there's no defensive units down south, and he's got the road pre-roaded. No, what? Alright, this is very weird. He's not going for the canal city, which, fair enough, we don't have boats, so that's fine. But, yeah, he moves a couple of units out now. That is pretty optimistic, though, since you don't have... Oh, well, actually, he does have the sentry here. He just doesn't suspect there to be a way down south, I suppose, where people could sneak up, and since the same thing is true for Archreaver, he probably also hasn't realized that this passage exists. I guess they'll both be fine in terms of not covering their southern borders. But yeah, SDN has realized that he's losing that score lead. He's only lost one score in the last turn, so maybe it's stabilizing a bit with those two city plans here especially. But again, he is in such an awkward spot in terms of defending all those cities. He really needs that road here to have a good defensive setup in the north. And then the south is just such a huge border that I would be a little bit worried here about just planting all too loosely for score. And I don't think he needs all that many cities after all. Although maybe Archreaver is going to plant another one up here. This city here would give him a huge amount of score. This one here would be even more ludicrous, but I doubt he's going to plant that audaciously far forward. This one here would give him a lot of additional border, though, that might be worthwhile. Archreaver now actually ends up moving back with the stack, goes for another end of turn stack attack, clears out that small Roman brigade here, and honestly, good choice here. You really just want to survive. He thinks he's gonna win this in terms of score, but honestly, if I had to guess, this is if I had to guess at this point, from what I'm seeing, I would assume SDN is gonna win out narrowly here with the score. The reason being that he's got the border expanded all of his cities, and he's gonna plant two more. He's planted his pillars up north, and he's gonna plant this one this turn. And I think in terms of score, SDN is just going to win this one, since I don't see any border expanse coming in here anytime soon. And I don't see a ton of settlers, only this one, which is still a huge amount of score gained if he ends up planting this. But yeah, I'm not sure it's able to counteract the border expanse that SDN has, as well as the two cities that he's planted this turn. So maybe Archreaver still needs a kill here, and he's not very well equipped to do that. All he's got is archers, it seems. I don't see any more horsemen. Maybe he's hiding him for now, but I really don't think he's got the firepower to get a legit kill onto SDN. Now, he might be able to cheese one, but that's way easier said than done. I don't like Archreaver's position all that much anymore, to be frank here. SDN looking good here. I'm glad we agree on that. These plans look very promising there. I agree. Huh. Dude, I mean, these two forests, they don't screw you that hard, right? I mean, if you're going through with horsemen, maybe, but I mean, yeah, I guess the double forests are pretty unfavorable for horsemen. you'll have a tough time getting through that. But I mean, they don't even have it scouted yet. What are they doing? Jesus. Incredible. Looks like Archiever has at least made another swordsman, so he might be thinking about going for the offense here. He's roading up to the Romans, but with all these border expands, that's actually just super funny. With all these border expands here, it's actually just tough to get into the Roman lands here, even with the road that he's presumably gonna have by the end of the game. And really, the score lead is down to 8, but I expect SDN to be stabilizing here. He didn't plant this turn or last turn for some reason. I think he's been standing there with the settler. Maybe he's waiting for more reinforcements to get down here just to secure the plant. Archie then, of course, has the chance to double move onto it from outside of SDN's vision. So maybe he just wants to be diligent and make sure that he can't be killed once he ends up planting there. But he needs to do that soon because he doesn't have the luxury of delaying his score all that much. Now, the border expands on by themselves might already be enough. But maybe I'm also just misremembering turns because I thought Archiever's settler has also been here last turn already. And yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he goes for the end of turn plan, but no. Maybe I just miscalculated that. Archiever sending another big stack forward, and it's exactly what I said. He's got archers and nothing else, but that sometimes in multiplayer is all that you need. He gets crushed on that roll here, though, by SDN Swordsman. Even gives him the promotion. Ends up planting here in Molde. So, yeah, that archer stack working as an offensive as well as defensive weapon. And this plant is actually pretty cool because that way you deny Archiever some, or excuse me, SDN some of his files as well. So you even take away a little bit of your opponent's score. You have somewhat shown your hand though with that. So SDN feels comfortable enough planting Veroconium down south, expecting that really this is the bulk of Archiever's forces, and he probably thinks that there's not going to be much coming from the south. Now, Archiever's immediate reaction here is to move the horsemen that he's currently healing up at Molde down south. He just wants to, yeah, he just wants to try and go for Viroconium now. As things stand, excuse me, SDN has enough units in there to survive even all 6 of Archiever's horsemen, I'm pretty sure. But still, I like the reaction to make sure you can pressure SDN on all fronts if you actually end up having to go for the kill here. As the turn ends, we have, wow, that score lead just shrunk. That's 2 score that Archiever gained on SDN. He had 9 deficit last turn, I think, if I didn't miscalculate that. And he's down 7 only at this point. Is Molde gonna end up making the difference? Or is the luxury that he just gained with Viroconium, is that gonna be a big difference maker? On the other hand, who knows? Well, actually, the border expand out of Ravenna probably already gave him that luxury, but still, I still like I still like hyping up luxuries whenever they're hooked, and Archiever has the advantage on that front. I'm pretty sure he's got the incense here that SDN doesn't have. Both have the ivory, both have the gems, both have the wines hooked. Well, I guess it's the incense versus the silks here, so both on the same amount of oh no, actually with the dice here. So SDN is still up on luxuries. Go SDN. Luxury usage is something I really don't see enough. I love it whenever I see it. Yeah, I like those types of plants. With the mold cheese plant here. It is good to take away from the opponent's border expand score, and also it's just very masculine and brave to plant in that way, and that's really what we're celebrating, right? We're celebrating toughness of guys, and that's exactly what we're seeing with that one here. The Vikings would have been proud of Archiever's audacity here. There we go. Okay, only 6 is the lead at this point. He's still gaining. I'm quite surprised here, but the land area is just that big, I would say. Look at this. He's so far spread out, and Molde as well gives him 8 additional tiles here. That is more than you would expect in terms of score, because even those border expansion in those cities don't give you that many tiles since they're sort of close together and overlapping as well. So really Archreaver doing himself a huge favor with that forward plant, and he's down to 6 score deficit. Now really SDN has no realistic shot at killing here. I can't say I can see that happening because Molde is defended by more archers than SDN has military units, I'm pretty sure. And really the only thing that I could see is a chariot sneaking into the backline, but since Archreaver rather has won the war for vision, there's no way for SDN to get through anymore. Maybe down south through this passageway, but he doesn't know it exists, and it's so long that I don't think he even could get his units through in time. So really, no need for Archreaver to worry. If he manages to take the score lead here, he wins the game. I'm positive of that. I don't see a Roman kill coming through here. Now Archreaver might still need to get his own kill since yeah, SDN hasn't joined the workers yet. Maybe he should have done that a couple of turns ago. Same thing for Archreaver though. He's eroding a couple of tiles still as well. He's picked up that another luxury down at Stavanger. I like that. And 5 is the deficit at this point. This really couldn't be any closer, could it? Neither guy probably able to kill his opponent, and Archreaver maybe has enough archers to get somewhere, but since he doesn't have the road prepped here, he doesn't have any access to Rome. I would say it's very difficult for him to get anywhere. SDN has moved up another settler. I'm curious where he's going with that one. He's apparently prepping a road here, so he might be looking for a city somewhere over there in this area. Not sure, but he still doesn't have any clue of these horsemen being present, and oh, that's a good amount. With those additional reinforcements coming in there from Hare, he might actually have enough to overwhelm Viroconium, since that's very difficult to reinforce for SDN in his spot. And look at this, that's so many workers that he hasn't joined yet. He's just spamming spearmen in the back cities, which is pretty decent, but why not join these workers now? The score game is getting real tight here, and you don't really want to have that happen. If you really want to give yourself every edge that you can find, is what I'm saying. So yeah, I don't agree with all these workers still being outside. Yeah, but maybe he needs those roads. It might turn out in the end to have been a blessing. So we'll have to remain oh well, eagerly watching how this one turns out. 3 is the difference now. Oh lord, Archreaver is making leaps, and good on SDN here, moving up with that chariot. A good choice there. He gets cleared out, of course, but he spots those 6 horsemen. He doesn't know about all these additional 5 that are reinforcing the stack now, but I think that's enough of a warning for him to move over the defenses that he needs. Now from this spot that he's stacking, all that Archreaver can reach is Viroconium. So I think SDN should be fine in terms of getting lethal here. That's probably not going to happen. But look at this. The score difference is so slim at this point. It's only 3. Archreaver is catching up still. And if SDN doesn't have anything else that he can pull out, this might just be it. Maybe he can join up a bunch and hurry another border expand out of Viroconium, but time's running out, man. You need something. You need anything that you can get here. And this settler is now moving it back even. So I think he's abandoned his plans of forward planting for another score city there. Really goes to show the threat that Archreaver holds right now with the vision that he has north, south, and in the center. SDN really has no safe directions to expand towards anymore. Maybe city up here could be realistic, but I don't really see it happening, to be honest, since that's so many more moves that he would have to put in. Another turn ends, and the score is down to 1. Archreaver in these last couple of turns catching up 2 per turn again, I think. So Really, this is tough. And no, SDN is now going for 1-for-1 trades. I'm not. I don't think I like this SDN trading 1-for-1 down here. Now, well, actually, he did get to see this stack again, so he knows it's still being reinforced. Maybe that's very valuable information. But yeah, I don't know, these 1-for-1 trades, I'm not the biggest fan of, because I don't think that's favorable to Rome, to be honest here. I work for the Dutch East India Company. I love spices and boats. I mean, I get it. It's decently creative, but who knows? Yeah, that's I get it. Honestly, I appreciate it. The thing is about the spices, right? I'm not that enthusiastic about spices. I just like luxuries in general. So maybe it's more of a British comparison, since they collect luxuries and treasuries and everything all across the world. I get the reference though, so um honestly, probably pretty accurate. And boats, of course, are the most important part. We can't understand that. GG Arch is what you're saying. You think this is through? You think this is through? I mean, maybe it is. SDN is looking rough, and he's definitely in no position to kill, but score could still swing. Maybe the Viking land area is just too huge. Yeah, the classic, right? The classic Scandinavian lands extending way further than Rome could ever imagine. And there we go, another 2-point swing puts Archreaver up 1. SDN with another desperate plant here at Loch Dunham. The road got done in time. Maybe he's joining up the workers now. Maybe that's something. Maybe there's something he's left to do. I assume the happiness slider is up all the way already, because that would be grief if it wasn't. But yeah, he just tries to clear out those horsemen now as well. Yeah, Archreaver is sitting quite comfortably here. I didn't expect him to come back again, but at some point he ended up picking up a lot of pace here, and he's also got border expand of Stavanger, Odense, Oris, and the Hareid plant itself is pretty massive. He's got a ton of additional tiles here that he otherwise wouldn't have gotten for a while. So these two cities, Molde and Hareid, are pretty big for him. And maybe that's all he needs, right? He's even got the Kata now. I'm not sure what that is for. Is he just trying to prepare for a potential offensive push if he needed one? Because I'm not sure again what the catapult would do at this point. Maybe to soften up any SDN stacks that could be moving into your land. Yeah, for that regard, catapults are pretty useful. But no, he actually ends up going for the push himself. He doesn't want to end it on a pure scoring victory, and he goes for the double move onto Viroconium. I don't think SDN has spotted this one yet. This is dangerous one. He needs to start reinforcing soon, and he hasn't caught the attack, and the archers are getting hit. This is about to be over, and SDN is cleared up at Viroconium. The Vikings and Archreaver grab the victory in the map and the first HOLMGANG of the CIV3 multiplayer community. He wins the Battle of Honor against SDN, ultimately proving that he was the one carrying the Hunger Games team after all. Again, this was just a 1v1 for fun, for the memes. No bad blood or anything between the parties. I'm glad these two guys tested out the format for me though, because this was a ton of fun to both set up, cast, and spectate. So congrats to Archreaver. You've proven your brilliance once more. Gets the 2-0 victory in one quick, cheesy way, and then another victory, more tactical and long-form game. Over 74 turns here, he ends up besting SDN for 2-0 in the best of 3. More HOLMGANGs to be expected on this channel soon. We have more spicy ones with more animosity, definitely coming up, and that's going to be way better production for those as well. But thanks to SDN and Archreaver for testing out this format with us. I hope everyone enjoyed this one, because this one pretty fun. This was pretty fun. Yup. Fill me on the T here, status. What's the Rever versus Archreaver meta here? Is it just that both of the names include the Rever part, the Rever part? Is that it? Because it's a bit scuffed here with the spelling, but whatever, right? It's what I've been saying. Status. The Danes just I wouldn't want to be facing those in the Holmgang. It's a bit. Yeah. I see. No, you've got a point there, Status, though, because Reaver Archreaver are kind of. I've played a couple of MPTs lately, and they're always captaining against each other, so it is a common matchup. Kind of like Ironclad versus Suede in every modern that's ever played. So I guess there's some basis to that. We now just need to start. We need to just make them start hating each other. That's what I'm saying. Alrighty. That's it for today. Was a fun stream. Again, more spicier homeguns are gonna be coming up on this stream soon, TM. Thanks for joining, guys, and maybe I'll play another game of multiplayer tonight. We'll see about that. Thanks again, and congrats to Archreaver.